simple act of communicating, one person to another, one location to another, can reach staggering proportions when viewed collectively. Scenes such as this are repeated daily in thousands of offices across the country. In fact, letters, telephone calls, and other forms of communication are fast approaching saturation levels for many business organizations. What can be done to stay ahead of this problem? What is being done? Of necessity, all business organizations have established some form of internal communication. In small companies, this may be nothing more than a few telephones and the normal everyday correspondence. In larger companies, these systems are usually more developed. Internal mail, telephones, and telegraph are often added to the basic methods to expedite the daily flow of internal communication. Such systems serve to join a company's far-flung locations into a single network. However, the appetite of business growth can be insatiable. Even the most efficient systems are challenged. Take IBM, for example. IBM is a large, decentralized company with several hundred plant, laboratory, and branch office locations throughout the country. The company requires a highly efficient communication network and uses many types of communication devices, including a leased line telegraph system. This network connects the many plant, laboratory, and branch offices to the switching center. Until recently, messages received from each line were on continuous punched paper tape and then torn into individual messages for retransmission. The installation was known as the torn tape switching center. After being torn, the message was logged, manually sorted, and filed on a rack. It was then taken from the rack and fed into a paper tape reader for transmission to the appropriate terminal. By 1962, the capacity of the system had been reached. It lacked the capability to handle future requirements. Because of this, IBM decided to design a new system under computer control. Work on the project began immediately. Programs were written for the new system and tested. Communication lines were connected to the computer. Messages were sent between test terminals at the computer and to different points in the network. The results were checked for accuracy. Then, on April 23, 1963, the internal teleprocessing system became operational and assumed full control of the IBM network. The new system used the previously existing network and terminals. What makes this system unique? Why is it considered a significant communications breakthrough? The primary function of the system is to route messages from one location to another and retain a log of the transactions. Let's take a closer look. These messages may be sent to one or many locations. The single addressed message is sent to one destination. The multiple addressed message may be sent to as many as 10 people at different locations. Another type message may be distributed to a pre-coded list of addressees. Broadcast messages go to all terminals, and service messages signal system operators. A closer look at a single address message reveals the data which must be included. In this case, corporate headquarters is sending message 153 to the Denver branch office. The same message, after it is received, includes the receiver's message number, the sender and his number, the date, time in, and time out. Now, let's follow a typical message through the system. Our message is originating at the Los Angeles branch office terminal and is destined for Boston, Massachusetts. These terminals are the basic devices for sending and receiving information within the system. The message is punched offline on 5-channel paper tape and enters the system only when ready to be transmitted. Depression of the request button allows the terminal to obtain control of the line when it is free. The message is then transmitted to the computer control center. The control center might be thought of in terms of two major elements: the IBM data processing system, which includes the computer, a disk file, tape drives, a card read punch, a printer, and an operating console. The second major element, the IBM Program Transmission Control Unit, controls the entire network operation. It is here where our message is first received, since this unit acts as a buffer between the network terminals and the data processing system. The message is converted from telegraph code into the binary coded decimal used by computers. The incoming time is logged, and the message is then transferred to the data processing system. Here, it is checked to ensure that format, addresses, and sequence numbers are correct. If the computer discovers an error, it signals the sending terminal. The message is now logged and held in storage in the disk file. As soon as the appropriate line becomes available, the control unit notifies the system, which in turn picks the message off the disk file, adds the time out, and forwards. The transmission control unit reconverts the message into telegraph code and sends it to Boston. From sending to receiving, a few seconds in the computer, a few minutes on the line. All messages are stored for 24 hours in case later retrieval is desired. Other information which is supplied by the system includes undelivered messages in the system, message activity for a terminal or even an entire circuit, error messages, and system status reports. All these features can help to solve the internal communications problems that exist throughout the business community today. The speed and capacity, the power and flexibility of proved IBM electronic computers and supporting data handling units can speed and smooth your internal communications right now. Just ask, and we'll show you how.